Hello everybody, my name is Marissa and I am known here and over on YouTube or over on Instagram, let's try that again, as the Crafty Heifer. This is round 2 for this video because I've already shot it and it did not work. So let's try this again. I am finally coming back to you since August. I apologize for a Flosstube. Now, those of you that watch me on Wednesdays, you know that I do a live video, so a lot of this you guys have seen as I've been kind of going, even though I haven't strictly done a Flosstube video. So, to get started, we are going to start with haul. And I've been buying a bit of like bits and pieces here and there, and I'm going to kind of go over a lot of it meshes in with projects that I'm doing and different things like that, so we'll kind of bebop around as I'm talking about different things, okay? So to start with, I did get some more snips. I wanted to get some of these to put in the different project bags that I'm doing so that I'm not always constantly having to track down 1 or 2 pairs that I have. And so I got these on 1-2-3 Stitch, and they were on clearance for $1 and some change. Now, these are not the best scissors. They're $2 worth of scissors. I will say that. They cut, they do what they're supposed to do. They're not fancy or anything like that. I don't need that kind of stuff. You know, I'm a functional type of a person, and so if I get something and it works, I'm happy with it. And so these, like I said, they were on clearance. I got 3 pair of them. I've opened up and have been using 1 pair to see how they worked. And they do snip thread and do all the things that they want to do. But if you want them, they are on 1-2-3 Stitch. I think they were $1.70 something along those lines on 1-2-3 Stitch. So I got a couple of those. These are going to be able to go into different projects so that, like I said, I'm not constantly looking for scissors because I put things in bags and then I can't find things and it's super annoying. We all know. We've been there. The struggle is real, right? One of my favorite things that, one of my favorite pieces of advice that I've gotten over the last year, and it's especially the last few months, as I've been meeting with my Dallas Stitchy group that we go and we actually stitch in person, and some of my online Stitchy groups. One of the things that I had the most problems with as a new stitcher, because it's only just now been a year, January was a year since I started stitching, was I hated the way that my white floss laid. The X's didn't lay right. They looked scraggly, I guess is the best word. They didn't give me the satisfaction that my colored stitches did. And so several of the ladies told me to get a cone of the DMC. And for some reason, these cone threads lay much better than other threads, like the regular DMC that you get in the skein. I don't know what the difference is, but the cone threads lay better. And so I had a friend that got a cone and she gave me a snippet off of hers and I used it and it was amazing. It was a game changer. And so I have gotten a cone. This is B5200 of the DMC. Now you get these for about $20 to $30. I found this one on 1-2-3 Stitch for $20 and went ahead and ordered it. And then I also have gotten a sulky white, and I had used the sulky for the new linen and threads, the 2021 Sal. I'd gotten a set of sulky for that and I stitched with it and I absolutely loved them. And so I'm going to do a little experiment and see if this white sulky lays as well as the cone sulky does, because these are only about $2. Now there's this 50 yards versus 425 meters. There's a difference. There's a large difference between the two. However, I'm going to do a little experiment and see on this. I haven't tested it yet because I haven't had any projects that needed the white so far. But we're going to do a little experiment with that. I'll let you guys know how that goes. But if you're a new stitcher and you're finding the same kind of thing that's happening to you with 5200, with Blanc, any of those whites, you might try getting a cone. And honestly, the price difference, as much as you get on a cone, is actually a little bit more economical to buy the cone than it is to buy the different skeins of floss. So that was one of the big pieces of advice I got. Now the other thing that I have figured out in the last few months since I've talked to you guys is that I really love Lugana and even weave. So I have ordered, I've got an antique white even weave, and then I also ordered this one. Now this is the mushroom and this is a 25 count Lugana from Yarn Tree. Now, I got another 25 count. I'm not thrilled with it because if you do over 2, I feel like the stitches are too big. And so on the project that I used the white on, I'm doing over 1. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. So 25 count is probably not going to end up being my sweet spot. I'm finding that I'm drawn to the higher count fabrics just because of the way that it finishes. I like the way that it finishes a little bit better. I like the way the stitches lay a little bit better on the higher counts, and so I'm gradually kind of increasing my counts, and that's something that I've also noticed and have learned about myself. But this color is just about perfect, and so I love it's a mushroom. It's very much a tea dye color. It's coming across a little bit lighter on camera than it is in person. But I got this. This is a 1/4 yard, and I'm going to use this for a lot of those little Christmas ones that I have. I'm just going to cut off as I need the fabric, the size that I need, and use this. And to follow along that, where did I put it? Here it is. I also went ahead and ordered some Monaco. Now, this is the DMC Charles Craft Monaco. You can get this at Michael's. Now, I've looked at the Michael's. I live in the DFW area. I have never found this in the stores here, so I went ahead and ordered it online. I got 2 rolls of it. It's 20 by 24 inches each roll. And I opened this up the other day and got a piece out, and I was really surprised by how stiff this fabric is. Now, I bought this to kind of do the same thing where I would cut off as I needed to. I could dye it. I can do some things like that. I think this is one of those fabrics you have to kind of get it wet and, you know, kind of play with it a little bit to get it to soften up. One of my friends said that as I use this, it'll soften up, but I really don't like how stiff it is at the moment. I'm really drawn to the softer yarn, or not yarns, the softer fabrics right now. I like the way the stitches lay on that better than the stiff fabrics. So that's going to take some work. It's going to take some experimentation. Now, you guys know me, that if you've been around for a while, you know I kind of experiment. I give things several tries before I completely write it off. I've tried stitching on the linen. It's not my jam. It's just not. That's where I found the even weave, and I am loving the even weave. It's easy to see the way that you can see Ada, but your stitches lay like they do on linen, which was the result that I really wanted. So I think even weave is going to kind of be my jam. Like I said, the higher counts, I'm going to give this Monaco a chance. I'm going to keep going on it. It's 28 count, which is not the best, but it's not worse. You know, it's not horrible. And so I'm going to kind of see if I can get it wet, even if I just let it, you know, soak in some hot water, even if I'm not dyeing it. Just let it soak in some hot water and see if that softens it up a little bit, or maybe even just ironing it. Steam ironing it will let it soften up a little bit. I'm going to kind of try a few different things, and I'll let you know how that goes as well. So I'm going to be doing some experiments and just seeing how I can get different results from trying different things. Another one of my friends told me, one of my stitchy friends, she's like, just iron your floss. Apparently ironing your floss does something to it. I don't know what it does, but it does lay better when you iron your floss. So if you're having some issues, I know I get a lot of tangling with the DMC flosses. You might just try laying it out and ironing it before you use it and see if that gives you a different result than what you're wanting or what you previously have been getting. I'm going to try some different things, you know, kind of make it to where I'm still enjoying the stitching. I did kind of lose my stitchy bug at the end of the year. Towards the end of the year, I just got kind of exhausted, and I've come back around to it, especially, you know, with that 1 year anniversary, the last few months. I've really been enjoying the stitching, but I know that I have to try different things because otherwise you get stuck in a rut, and I don't want to get stuck in a rut with it. So those are some experiments that I'm going to be doing, some things that I've figured out about myself. And I think that's a good plan. You always have to figure things out about yourself and what makes you happy to be able to stitch your stuff. So I do have 2 fully finished items. Very excited about these. The first one is completely stitched from stash. The finishing, everything I had in my stash, including the fabric. Now this is the Stitchonomy Winter Sal for 2020. I did not do every single band. I did the ones that I wanted to do to the point where I was ready to stop. Now, like I said, all of the floss I had in my stash, the fabric, everything. And I signed up for the SAL when it was free. I think that was in like mid-December, something along those lines. The SAL was being offered for free and I signed up for it. So this is a completely Stitch from Stash that I did. Now, I love the way that this turned out. I chose some pastel-y colors, different colors that I had. And then that cone white I actually used on these Quaker type stars here. And I don't know if it's going to come across on camera, but you can see those white stitches lay just as pretty as the stitches in the color do. And I really hope you can see that on camera as much as I do, because that's what I used that cone white on, and it was a major difference compared to up here where I used the DMC skeins. And you can see some of that white is just not laying very pretty. I know it's probably not coming across on camera. So I hope that you guys understand what I'm talking about. This ribbon I already had, and what I've got it on is a Dollar Tree canvas, and I just got out the staple gun and did some creative wrapping and put a simple ribbon on it, and then this will go up on the wall. So this is the Stitchonomy 2020 Winter Sal. It is available now, but you have to purchase it. Now, the second one that I got finished, I'm so excited about. A lot of you will remember this one. This is one of those ones that I saw it and I knew that I had to do it. So this is the Witchy Stitcher, not Perky, and it's Wednesday Addams. As you can see, I did all of the stitching except for the spiders on the collar. I tried doing the spiders and it was a disaster. And so my friend Kim graciously was like, just hand it to me. I'll do the spiders. So she did the spiders. There is a bead in the center, which I absolutely love. Made it a little bit more three-dimensional. And then this fabric was a purchase from a resale group, a Stitchy resale group. And then the ribbon I already had, and it is also wrapped around a Dollar Tree canvas. So I love this finish. I love everything about it. This ribbon was perfect. I've had it for about 3 years and couldn't ever find anything to use it with. And as I was putting up my Christmas stuff, I came across this ribbon and was like, I know exactly what that needs to be used for. And it goes perfectly with Wednesday. So these are going to go up on my wall above my stitchy area. But this one I am so happy with. I'm happy with both of them. But this one is definitely kind of my favorite at the moment. So now I've gotten a couple of things as gifts over the Christmas season and over my birthday season, which is in January, that I want to talk about because I am loving them. Now the first thing are these little things. They are, I think, Amazon. I know they came from Amazon. I think they're called like cable ties, magnetic cable ties or something like that. They are magnetic on the ends, so that little round disc is a magnet. And they're very strong magnets. And they come in different size sets. These are the Smart Cool ones, which are a little bit more pricey, but they work really well. And I got several of them, and they're really good to wrap your fabric and keep your fabric contained inside your grime guard. So all that extra fabric, I love using these for that. You can also use them to tie cords, do different things with. They're very useful to have in your stash. So I would suggest these. I will be putting links down in the description box for everything that I talk about today. So these are the ones that I have still available. I'm going to have to order some more. Now, my second favorite thing that I have gotten over the holidays, these and the other thing also came from my friend Kim. She got me some ball tip needles, and I have been using those like crazy. She got me a pack of size 24 and a pack of size 26, and I know they're a little bit pricey, but honestly, you guys, they are worth it. I didn't purchase them because I wasn't sure. I'm a very cautious purchaser, and I will be buying $7 for 2 needles for the foreseeable future because they're just worth it. They stitch really well. They fit well in your hand. They glide through the fabric. Like, I cannot tell you, it is like butter. They glide through like butter. It is beautiful. And your stitches lay really nicely with those needles as well. So I definitely recommend them. I have been using them pretty much constantly. I've actually been trading them out. I've only got 4. And so as I'm working on different projects, I'll still one off one project and move it to the next project. They're pretty much all I've used. Not gonna lie. So if you need to, you know, a little retail therapy, there are some recommendations for you. So those are some new things that I have found and that I have loved. Now the next thing we're going to do, and I realize I'm talking very quickly, it's just what I do. The next thing we're going to talk about is my whips and my new starts and kind of what my plans are for the year. So we are going to start with this one. This is the Stitchonomy 2021 Winter Sale. Now, I was not going, or year-long sale, excuse me. I was not going to do this one. I am so far behind on the 2021. I never finished it, even though I absolutely love it. It's the Quaker style one. And when I saw Brendan put up the theme, I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm doing it. So the theme is Talavera, which is Mexican and Spanish style pottery. Now, you guys, I live in Texas. I'm from West Texas. This is a huge thing here. You see it everywhere. And it's bright and it's colorful and it's fun. And it was, honestly, Brendan, it's perfect for 2021 because after 2020, we need some bright, colorful, perfect things in our life. So we're 3 months into this and I was doing really good. So January, he released the frame. Now I'm doing the frame in a blue after doing some research, you know, just kind of looking into it a little bit more. There's this certain blue color, and I call it cobalt. Some people may call it indigo. It's a blue. It's a certain blue. And I figured I wanted to do my whole frame because that's what he released for January in this blue color because it is an overlaying theme in all the different pottery. And then when I started stitching the frame, 1, I realized how long it was going to take. And 2, I realized that if I messed up on the counting, I was completely foobar. So I decided that I was going to do the frame as I did the tiles and the different sections so that if I messed up on the counting, I only had to tear out one section instead of tearing out the entire frame. This may come back to bite me, but this is my choice that I have made. And so then I did February. February I did in 2 days. I was super excited. I got it knocked out. And then in March, he released a really big chunk and I've not made it that far on it. So the idea this year is to keep up with my sales and to keep up with the whips that I've started. I'm only allowed to have a new start every 2 finishes. We'll see how I do with this. I'm going to try to stick to that. I know that I can stick to things like this if I make myself do it, if I hold myself responsible. Now I've got you guys to help hold me responsible, so I'm going to need you to like stick with me here. So every 2 finishes, I can have a new start. Now, I am counting a monthly finish on these year-long sales as a finish that leads to, or that counts towards those 2 finishes. I know a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will probably disagree with that, but that's the way I'm doing it to be able to keep myself motivated because I was going to do like no start 2021. And then I was like, girl, please, you are lying to yourself. Don't lie to yourself like that. You know, it's not going to happen. So here we go. This is the 2021 Talavera. This is my first start on it. So as you can see, this is that blue that I was talking about here. It's all in the different frames and things. You can see this one comes way down. And so I had gotten this square done, and I'd gotten down to about here on this outside column. And that's all that I had done for January. Because that's when I realized, because these are 50 stitches wide. They're 50 by 50 here. And then this goes all the way down. And I was like, if you mess this up, you are going to be cussing later on. So I figured I'd just do this one. This is my February tile. And then I'm not sure which month this is going to be. And then this release here is the March release. Now, the March release. If you have not seen this frame, I will pop it up over here so that you can see the March update. This is a free SAL. It's on the Linen and Threads website. So if you want to do this, it's not too late to jump in. It's a lot, but it's not too late to jump in. So this goes, as you can see here, there's a column here, and then there's a column over here on the other side. Now, for each of these little doohickeys here, there's 29 of them in all 3 columns put together. So my idea is that I'll try to stitch 1 or 2 of these a day so that by the end of the month, I'm done and it's not so overwhelming. I needed to break it down into more of a bite-sized piece. So as you can see, I've only gotten 3 done, so I am already behind. I need to get another couple stitched here. So I've got a little bit of catch up to do. I still need to get my flower into this one there. And I'm using something else that was new to me, which is the sulky threads. I had seen someone before the SAL was released. I saw someone on the Linen and Threads group post that they had found a collection of sulky threads called the Broadway Collection on Amazon, and they purchased it. And when I saw it, I thought those are the perfect colors for a Talavera SAL. So I went ahead and got them. This is the first half of the set. As you can see, they are bright. They are beautiful colors. I will be using all of the colors in this set. There's 10, and I think it was about $12 or $13 for the set. So that was the first half. Let me grab the second half here. This is the second half. I mean, just look at those colors. They are gorgeous. So I'm trying these sulky threads, and I am really, really liking them. This is the first time I've stitched with those. Was to do that February tile, and I am very impressed. They're a little bit thicker. I think somebody said 1 strand of sulky is a strand and a half of DMC, so they are a little bit thicker. So when I started doing that tile, I did not account for that, and I started it with 2 threads, and I was doing 2 over 1, so that's 2 threads over 1 hole. I tried 2 over 2 and didn't like it. That's that 25 count that I was talking about. And so this is all over 1 on here. I know some of you probably are like, what are you doing? But I'm making it work. So this is all over 1. I'm doing 2 threads over 1, but I'm only doing half of the X. So I'm only doing like a tent stitch for each stitch. And it is getting a little crowded, but I hope that you can see I like the way that it turned out. It's working for me. It may not work for other people, but it's working for me. I like the coverage that it gives. It is better coverage than the DMC. Now the blue that I'm using for the DMC is the color 796. I don't know if you can see that, but it is a gorgeous blue color. I would call it, like I said, cobalt, indigo, maybe. You can choose what color you want to call it. But that's the blue that I'm using for the frame, and then I'll probably use it in some of the patterns throughout the cross stitch. So that was the first one that I started this year. I'm really loving it. I've got it in an 8x11, and I did turn it. I had it the other way, and then I realized when this column came out, I was like, let's make this a little more user-friendly and turn it vertically so that I don't have to move my frame quite so much. So that's the first project that we're doing. Now the idea is that releases on the last day of the month. So the idea that I had is when it releases on the last day of the month, I start working on it, and I work on it until I'm done. Now for February, that worked out great because I did that tile in a couple of days. For March, having to break it down, that's not going to work for March because it's such a big release. And I realized that I could push it off and do some of that later. So maybe I just need to focus on finishing 1 column and then add a column to some of those other smaller releases. Maybe that would work. There's some other ways to kind of make it function and still keep me on task and not too far behind. I don't want to get behind because one thing that I've noticed that when I do SALs, if I get too far behind, I kind of give up. And I don't stay motivated to work on them because I'm so far behind. The other thing, the other pro of that is I get to steal other people's ideas because they have these great color combinations, or they have this great idea, or they make a modification to the pattern and then they share it with everyone. Yeah. I'm one of those people. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes I make up my mind and I know what I'm doing, and sometimes I'm like, what's everybody else up to? No big deal. So that's what I was working on. Now this one is the Linen and Threads 2020 pattern. So what you're going to see today are the either new starts that I finished, like this Sal, or the ones that I have put some stitches in over the last few months that you haven't seen. And mostly over the last couple of months, not anything too far back. So this is the 2020 Sal. So for those of you that know this Sal, you're going to see a couple of things that I'm aware of. The first thing, this is the second project that I started ever. The first one was the cutting cross stitch letters from Hogwarts. We won't talk about that one. But this is the second one I started. I started this last March. So I was already 2 months behind when I found it. Now, right off the bat, this element here, this medallion and this medallion should be swapped. Because when I started, I was so excited. My frame was turned this way, and I didn't realize it till I took it out of the frame to serge the edges. My bad. I made it work, moved the butterfly in, went ahead and put this medallion up here. It's fine. We'll make it work. I just had it oriented wrong on the fabric. Now the other thing that I've been doing is I did go ahead and get this done. This is the February release. And I got this part done as well. And I started down here on this. I think this was March, or this is March maybe, and this is April, something along those lines. Anyway, I realize I'm out of order on this, but I did get some stuff done. These are done in 3 different variegated threads. So this is a DMC variegated. This is Purple Passion by Threadworks, that purple color. And then this blue, which is giving me all the life, is Threadworks Bikini Blue. What's not coming up on the fabric is this has got cobalt and turquoise and about 4 or 5 shades of blue. It is brighter than on the camera, than it's coming across on the camera, and it is gorgeous. So for those of you that know this pattern, this is that huge urn plant thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's large. And so I've gotten a really good start on that. That was one session there that I got started. So when Texas went into the deep freeze a few weeks ago, this is what I was working on. And I really have enjoyed it, going back to it. So the idea is I work on that one first, the 2021 Sal, for that week. And then I do the same month release for the 2020 Sal until it's done. Now, I don't know what Brendan has against March, but that's when he does his really big releases. So that urn plant thing is huge compared to all of the other medallions. And then, of course, the one for 2021, he also is pretty big release. So I'm like, okay, maybe we should calm down a little bit, Brendan. It's okay. I'm not going to complain because it's a free pattern, but a little overwhelmed already. Now, the other couple of things that I got is I got a couple of patterns that go along with this. So I will show you this. This is the Snow Village by Cottage Needleworks. And I started this last year during Jolly July. Now, when I purchased it, there's a couple of my other friends that were doing this one as well. But I am the only one that wanted to do this bigger section in the middle. So let me get my fabric all adjusted here. This is on Untitled by Picture This Plus. It's a 16 count Aida, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. So this is what I've gotten done. Now I still have to do the back stitch, and then I still need to put some beads on for their eyes and for the buttons on the snowmen. But this is pretty much done for this particular pattern here. So what I did go ahead and buy were 2 more patterns out of this set. Now this has a set of 12. I'm only going to be doing this big one and then 2 above it and 2 below it. And that's going to be it for me. I feel like that's plenty. I don't want to do all 12. I don't actually like all of them. And a lot of them are kind of repetitive for me. So I'm going to pick and choose which ones I want to do, and I thought that would balance it out because this is basically double the length that these are. So I got this one here, and this is called Snow Cone Cart. It's not focusing. So it's a really cute little snow cone cart. I don't think that will take me very long to stitch, maybe a couple of days. And then this one is called Peppermint Parlor. And it's one of the houses I really liked this one. I love that the house is striped. And then it's got the little peppermints in the window. So this is another one that I'll do. And then once I get these done, I'll buy another cart and another house for the bottom to balance it all out. And then this will be finished. So all of that said, that is the plan for this particular pattern. And then they've got several other ones. You guys know me. I love a country cottage needlework or a little house needleworks. Those are really, to me, those are really my style. I really like the way that they turn out. So that is hopefully going to be happening this year. It's going to be happening this year. That's why I bought those 2 new patterns there. Okay, up next, this one is one I already had in my stash. I purchased it last year. I already had it kitted up. I think I had to substitute one color that I didn't have out of my stash. It was a green, and I just chose a green closest to it out of my stash. So this one is Heart and Hand Birds and Bees. And I know some of you will remember this one. And the other night I was sitting around, all of my February stitch alongs were caught up. So the idea is I'll do all of my stitch alongs as soon as they release till I get that release finished. And then the last couple of weeks of the month I can work on all of these whips that I have that I haven't done anything with and try to hopefully knock some of these out. And so I got to the point where I didn't want to work on any of the whips. I didn't really want to I didn't have anything to do for any of my other releases. So I got this one out of my stash since it was already kitted up and got a pretty good start on it. Now this is on 16 count. Picture This Plus Fawn is the color. And it's on Ada, and I got a pretty good start on it. These are all the called for colors. So these lines here that I didn't do are supposed to be the white, and I was waiting. That was the other thing, is I was waiting on that sulky white. I'm going to try it on this fabric with this stitch. So that's where I've gotten to. It's pretty good. It's a good start. Here's one of those. I don't know if you can see that needle there. It is a ball tip needle. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if you can see the ball tip on it. It's probably not coming across on screen, but that's a ball tip needle. And it is just, especially on this, with this, how soft this fabric is, even though it's Ada, it is really stitching up nicely on here. So that is kind of the newest start that I have. It was very spring appropriate, and so I thought I would go ahead and get a start on it. It was already kitted up. It didn't cost me anything. So hey, you know, when it doesn't cost you anything, you can't really complain. Okay, this is one that I started last fall. It is in, it is the Bed and Breakfast, the Spooky Hollow Part 1 by Little Stitch Girl. I'm sure some of you remember this. I bought this, I think, last summer, and I was super excited about it. Now, I bought it as a PDF download off of Etsy, but you can buy it, you know, in several different places, even from the Little Stitch Girl. She gives you links to the different shops that you can find it in. I am doing this on 32 count Vintage Stormy Night Lugana. This is where the Lugana obsession started. Because once I got used to it and started stitching on here, I was like, excuse me a minute. This is amazing. It's amazing. So, and this is a large, very large piece of Lugana, because I think there's 10 or 12 village pieces here. And so I think I probably overestimated what I actually needed, but there we go. That's the start that I've gotten on here. Let me fold this one more time. I love the little ghost peeking out of the window. It hasn't been a lot. This is one of those where this is, I think, like an ecru type thread, and I'm not real thrilled with it. So I'm probably going to go in with a good old white. This is kind of a silvery white, and I'm probably going to go in with just a good old solid white, that sulky, and go ahead and fill the house in. So there's a lot of fill in with white stitches. I'm hoping on here you can kind of see what I was talking about with the way my stitches lay. Not real thrilled with it. These are actually pretty good because I was railroading these. However, I don't want to have to railroad everything that I do. So there's that one. That was a good start there. I did enjoy that one until I got to the filling in, and then I was like, this is going to have to be broken up because I like a good color block just like everybody else, but it's a lot. It was a lot. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. I am doing 2 over 2 on that. And then this is the Star Spangled Banner. I bought this as a gift to make for someone. I was supposed to have it for her birthday last August. And that obviously that didn't work. So this is called Star Spangled Banner. It is by Willow Hill Samplers or Samplings. It is on 18 count Cafe Mocha. And I'm actually stitching this with Gentle Arts cast iron skillet threads. So that's what it is supposed to look like. It's the verses of the Star Spangled Banner. Now this is in an 11 by 11 Q-snap, which I'm not a fan of. I like my 8 by 11s, and that is what I have gotten done so far. I'm still undecided about this Gentle Arts floss. It's okay. It's not great to me. I do have a friend that gave me some black off of a cone of black, some 310. I'm going to try that on here as well and see if I like that a little bit better. And then maybe I can use those Gentle Arts cast iron skillet. I like the color because it's not solid black. It's a gray black cast iron skillet. You guys know. But I may try to use some of that 310 and see if I like it any better. Excuse me. And finally, this is the last project that I've been working on, and it has kind of become my baby. It is beautiful. I love it. I'm loving everything about it. It's laying on the fabric the way I want to with my stitches. The colors are gorgeous. This is my first time doing a pattern from this maker, and what I'm talking about is the Sense and Sensibility Sal by Stitching Book Club and Sapphire Mountain Handicrafts, I think is what it's called. I'll have to look that up. It'll be down. So I've gotten part 1 and part of part 2 done. So this little medallion, the flower, this big flower here, that's all part 1. And then I started yesterday stitching on part 2, which is this, and up around this will be mirrored. There's a flower here, and then these 2 elements are mirrored over here. So I'm sure I'll finish this in another day or so. I'm doing the alternative colorway. So this was actually called for originally on a blue fabric, but I went ahead and got white. This is 28 count Lugana, so I'm doing 2 over 2 on it. And I'm doing the alternative colorway with the purple in it. I love this stitch. I'm having so much fun with it. And like I said, the results, I'm having such a good, everything's just laying, it's laying well. It's pretty. I'm like, this doesn't look like my stitching to me. I will say this. Having gone through all of my stitching from what I started way last year to what I started towards the end of the year, I can tell a noticeable difference from when I first started to what I'm doing now, and the way things lay and the tricks and things that I use. I know I'm not bragging. I am not the best stitcher. I'm not saying that by any means. I can see that I'm improving, and that's what I really like about it. And this one is just giving me all the satisfaction for some reason. I don't know why, but this is making my heart happy. It's making me so, so happy. You know, the other day, Wednesday, Wednesday was one of those days where nothing was going right. It didn't matter what I did. I wasn't in a bad mood. Nothing was wrong. Just nothing was right. And for those of you that saw that live, I stuck a plastic bag to my $60 Diamond Art Club canvas. And yeah, and Thursday was kind of the same way. I sat down to stitch and I kept having to frog, and I wasn't liking the way it was turning out. And I was just like, I'm done. And then I woke up Friday morning and my pattern was here for this. And it completely turned things around for me. So maybe that's why I'm loving this. But yeah, this project right here is what's keeping me going. I'm not gonna lie. I'm loving this. I love everything about it. Anyway, I'll stop professing my love for it. That is also still available. They're going to be doing 3, or well, technically 4, but they've got a little kit that you can buy that you'll get 3 patterns. So it's this one, The Great Gatsby, Little Women, and I think they're doing Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe separately. But I think you can get those first 3 as a set, and I think it was about $33, something along those lines. So if you want to stitch this pattern along with the other 2 that they're going to release later in the year, which I'll also be doing Little Women. I'm undecided about the other 2, but I am planning to do Little Women. Those are available on Etsy, and I know that's at least where I found it is on Etsy. So again, look in the description box, you'll be able to find it there. But this pattern is keeping me going. I am still liking the other things that I'm working on. I was really surprised that when Kim and I went through all of my projects, all of the patterns that I purchased, because I did purchase quite a bit last year. I kind of went a little crazy with everything going on. I was, using retail therapy. I only pulled out one project, one pattern out of the probably 30 to 40 that I have, that I thought, I'm not going to stitch this. I purchased this and I'm not really going to stitch this. Why did I buy this? Like, was it part of a kit or something? One. So I was very impressed with myself that that's as far as I got, other than things that, that are free or whatever. That's where I'm at right now, you guys, with the stitching. I'm probably going to be doing these maybe bi-monthly, maybe even monthly, just because as much as I stitch, even if I stitch every single day, I don't complete as much or get as much progress as a lot of other stitchers do. And that's not me comparing. That's just me knowing myself. So these won't be as often, like they won't come weekly or anything like that. Like I said, it'll be bi-weekly or even monthly. But that's where we're at right now. Everything else, I've got some projects over there I haven't touched yet. I think there's about 4 that I haven't done any stitches in or anything like that. Hopefully I'll get those into the rotation. And then I've got some back here over my shoulder right there that are kitted up but haven't been started yet. So once I get, a couple of other finishes, then I will get those started. I think I need... So I had 2 finishes. So I had the February Talavera and the February Sense and Sensibility, and the February, both of the linen and thread. So I actually had 3 new starts, which let me do the B one. And so at this point, once I finish Sense and Sensibility, I will need 1 more finish to be able to start something else if I want to. And so that's where we're at right now. I did find a pattern the other day. I can't show it to you because I know she watches this. I found a pattern the other day that I freaking fell in love with, and I'm going to be making it for my best friend's birthday. Her birthday's in June, and so I've got a little bit of time. So that may be my next start, and I'm going to see what I can pull out of my stash to do it, because I think that mushroom fabric will be perfect for it. And I probably can get pretty close to the thread colors that they are calling for. If not, I'll just buy the new threads. Threads aren't that expensive, right? At least I use mostly DMC, so it's not expensive for me. I'm trying to think. That's what I have at the moment. If you guys have any questions, if you have any suggestions, anything like that, feel free to put that down here in the comment section. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you liked this video. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. If you do subscribe, don't forget to ring that cowbell, because everybody needs more cowbell in their lives. I do go live Wednesday nights. That is at 7 p.m. Central until 8 p.m. Central. So it's just an hour if you feel like joining me. If not, catch the replay. Sometimes I stitch, sometimes I diamond paint, sometimes I make a wreath, sometimes I do crochet. I am doing a collaboration with my good friend Crafting Journey. She's got a channel here as well that you should check out. We are doing a year-long crochet temperature blanket. You can do it however you want, if you want to do it at all. But on the 4th Wednesday of the month, we get together because she goes live the hour before I do on Wednesdays. And so we get together and do a 2-hour live on the 4th one, which is usually me catching up with my crochet that I haven't done yet. Yeah. My friend Cal, who is Cal's Crafts here, you should check her out as well. She is the sweetest lady that I've ever met. She's in Wales, so her accent is also awesome. She does cross stitch, she does diamond painting, all of that kind of stuff. She's running like a mermaid along. So it's basically any mermaid craft, whether you color, diamond paint, whatever your craft is. If you want to do something with a mermaid on it, you can do that. She's got a Facebook group as well. I found a pattern, a mermaid pattern, and I'm going to stitch it on black fabric, and I'm going to stitch it with yarn, thread that I already have. So that'll be another stitch from stash kind of one, because I did find a free pattern, so it counts as a stitch from stash. That's kind of what I'm looking for in the next few months. Now, I do have a retreat coming up, a stitchy retreat coming up at the end of April for DFW Stitchers, and I'm very excited about it. I did get in off the wait list on that one, so that'll be a fun weekend here in DFW that I'll be able to go and stitch. We do have to wear masks, but I'm going to make it work. Hopefully we're going to get to have a Scottish festival in May. Fingers crossed. They canceled the one for April, but fingers crossed we'll have one in May. And then for those of you that have not been around or that do not know, I'm hosting a retreat in Hamilton, Missouri in October, the weekend of October 7th through the 10th. We do currently have open 4 spaces. Now, it is going to be $395 to attend. Now, that is your room, all of your meals, swag, all of that kind of stuff. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot. If you are interested in that, please contact me. Once those spots are filled, they're going to be gone. But if you would like to go, I do currently have 4 spots available. We would love to have you there. We're a great group of women and men. I've got men coming too, that are also crafters. You can be whatever craft. You can stitch, you can diamond paint, you can do whatever craft. All crafts are welcome. We want to learn about it. Just so you know, you're going to be teaching everybody about it if you do something unusual. But that's okay. We're going to go. We're going to have fun. And you are more than welcome to join us. Or if you know somebody that maybe lives close that might want to come, let me know. Get them in contact with me, because I want to get those spots filled so that I can really start digging deep and getting all of that done. Either way, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube. Those of you that have stuck it out, thank you so much. We did, make it a really good year last year. I was blown away. The new St. Jude pattern, the cross stitch pattern for St. Jude, will be released April 1st. We've been working on that. My test stitchers are ready to go. So I'm very excited. It's almost St. Jude season again. So that is coming up as well. So be on the lookout for that. I'll give you more information when I'm ready to release that pattern. But April 1st looks to be the go date. So you'll probably get another Flosstube or at least a little special short video on or around April 1st for that pattern. Last year you guys raised $1,200 from a pattern, and I was mind blown, completely mind blown that this little pattern that I just sat down and got a whim to make one day raised. Sorry about that. So the goal this year is $1,500. We're gonna see what we can do, but again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed or got enabled at least a little bit, and until I see you guys next time, happy stitching until we meet again. Bye guys.